Welcome to round one, back nine coverage of the FP40 division here at the 2022 Masters World Championships from Peoria, Illinois. Brought to you by the PDGA with footage from Ace Run Pro and graphics. Thanks to Gatekeeper Media, it's Grant Zellner alongside Jennifer Allen. Here we are at Northwoods Blue, by the way.
And Natalie and Owen starting off hot with 4 under, followed closely by Holly Finley, 3 down, and Sarah Hokum, down 2. A lot of golf.
Everybody
all week long to go.
Still in the hunt, no doubt about it.
We're going to start off here. Hole number 10. It's 261 feet, par 3. All these little trees kind of trick you a little bit, but it's just slightly off to the right, almost more of a straight shot. If you try to get too fancy with it, the tree on the left high really comes into play, as well as the small little tree you don't see off the tee on the right side.
Got to carry all of the footage up to this basket, as thick as the grass is here in this part of Illinois. This is Natalie first off the box.
And that's that little tree I was talking about. You don't see it at all because of the big tree there in front of it, but it sure does like to grab the disc for us. Sandi lefty on the card, takes a cleaner lower hyzer shot and going to put her just outside circle 1.
Own Scoggins, not surprised to see her turn to her trusty forehand,
which looked just like Sandi's lefty shot. They're almost identical and landing almost in the exact same spot. I'm going with a Mako 3, trying to keep it straight. Let it go a little too high, but that disc is a fighter.
Yeah, boy, it really got through there.
It has probably nothing to do with how hard I throw things.
No, not at all. Natalie from 150.
And that's her ultimate background, and she has the cleanest approaches with that shot.
Yeah, air bounce up there.
Absolutely love playing with Natalie. Good to have her back in the United States, as well as Sandi.
Yep, Sandi, a Canadian, representing the lefties, representing the Canadians.
Own continuing what she was successfully doing on the front 9 holes, which is slamming every single putt.
Yeah, especially in that 28 to 32 foot range, just like clockwork.
I unfortunately had a spit on hole 1 that I really wondered if I would have got that to stay in the basket if I would have played a little cleaner, because it really kind of got me in a funk that I just couldn't seem to shake. No really harm done. Just going to toss in another par. Keep my pars going.
Sitting at even par, which is not a bad score at Northwoods, by the way. That is a decent score at this and keeps you very much in the hunt.
Yeah, frustrated. That's the worst I've played it all week, though. Sarah and I were able to get out here and play our first divisional doubles, and we really got to see some pretty birdies.
So Owen takes a 1-stroke lead over Natalie. Everybody else at even par here on this, our feature car for day number 1. Hole number 11, a par 4 at 603 feet. We stay out in the open for the time being. Everything softly bending to the right here on this hole, very softly.
Yeah, a placement shot. We're all going to throw a second shot here. The left side of the fairway allows for a right-hand backhand hyzer approach that seems to be a little bit easier. Getting on the right side of the fairway, the second shot, you really have to watch some branches. There's Owen. I knew we'd get footage of her picking all the mulberries off the tree. She was snacking all day long.
Veering way off the fairway every now and then. We wondered what was wrong.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I told her she's going to have to bring a step stool because she ate everything down low. So tomorrow when we play it, she'll have to have something to get the ones up high.
Owen is safely out into the open, and here's Natalie.
Big pull and great flex, and just sneaks it underneath all those early branches.
I'm happy.
As she should be.
As she should be.
Sandi. It kind of lifts on her, I think, more than she wanted to, but that lands her right back in the middle as well. I was angry.
Oh, wow. Afterburners on this one. 300, 350.
I'm making someone do a spin around.
417 on that drive.
Yeah, I always feel like I've had a successful day if I make the camera guy turn around.
Mm-hmm. Here's Owen now. 330 feet from the basket.
Still a big rip to get up there.
Oh, late tree.
Yeah. Par 3 on this hole as well. Par 4. I'm sorry. Par 4. So she's going to easily save her par.
Sandi, as a lefty, forced to try to shape something in there.
Yeah, that's the tree on the left side of the fairway. If you land on the right, I've seen so many discs this week get knocked down. There's some really strong branches that you just can't see. Natalie takes the hyzer approach, which if you stay low is a lot easier to get up to the basket. She's just inside circle 1. I had actually never been this close. That was my longest drive.
You're just about 180 feet from the basket here.
I think I got it at 190, but maybe you were right because I went way long. Not too long, but way longer than I wanted to. Got a pretty big skip. I wasn't expecting that much skip, but as you can see, there's not much grass here by this basket.
So Sandi trying to lay up to save this par.
Yeah, nice little flex shot. Owen's going to work her putter right up there as well.
Likewise. Here you are from just outside the circle, call it 36, 37 feet.
Yeah, dancing with the trees again. I think
You really were.
I think I wanted to just play in the trees all day.
Oh.
Thought I had it. I had good height. Just trying to drop it right in there and just not having the day I wanted.
Sandi, weak side chain.
That was Natalie. But,
excuse me. You're right.
But Natalie was putting so great the front 9. I kind of expected her to make that. She had a really solid, clean putt all day long. She saves her par. That was her look for birdie.
Here comes the other purple-clad individual, Sandi.
Yeah, I don't know how you can get all these non-Americans confused.
I know. They all decided to coordinate their dress today.
Owen and I will both just be tapping out pars as well. This is definitely a birdieable hole. You just have to get a couple of really good shots.
Yeah. So everybody pretty much where they were when we started hole number 11 as we finish hole number 11 here in round 1.
Ledgestone. Every summer, hundreds of disc golfers flock to the greater Peoria, Illinois area to compete in the sport's richest and most charitable event, the Ledgestone Open. But what does Ledgestone look like for the rest of the year? On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers, but look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose the retailer that's as passionate about the sport as you are. Choose Ledgestone.
Here's hole number 12, a 279-foot par 3, playing right down this, I guess you'd almost call it like a levee or a bit of a ridge. We just kind of cruise down it, where the basket is placed at the other end, a little bit guarded by these trees.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is kind of aim at that single tree there in the middle, and then the basket tucks off to the right on that hill. The big cedar tree on the right comes into play, as well as if you just don't get it to turn, you're going to go off to the left, but that's a good open putt. This is definitely a reachable hole for us.
Oh.
Owen gets a very unfortunate kick.
Tree root.
I like the creative use of this mound, though. It reminds me of levees in the part of the country where I'm from that we have along some of our rivers.
Yeah, Natalie puts a lot on this, and it just hyzers out for her. So this hole tricks you because you can't see the basket, so it feels like it's a little bit longer, but it's only just a little over 250. Wind's starting to pick up for us just a little bit. We've been in the trees. We haven't been feeling that. I'm using my trusty Mako 3, and it cuts in just a little too strong for me, but I'm going to have a little bit of a putt through the tree there.
Zone now from about 45 or 50 feet.
You know she's running it. And that wind, I think, really kind of got us on this hole because we haven't been used to it, and that tailwind really sucked it down. Sandi doesn't get hers to turn as much as she wanted to.
I had Natalie at about 50 feet from here.
Gives it a good floating look, and it just died a hair too soon for her. Keeping things going, playing in the trees. I had one little branch to go around, and that cedar branch just looked really thick, so I was afraid of hitting it. It would just knock it down. I'd rather go long than drop straight down, so tapping in for my par. And those berries on the left that you see, Owen told me do not eat those.
I'd trust her.
Yes.
Everybody else tapping out pars here at the 12th. So 2 holes in a row. Everybody pars out. And we will move on to the 13th.
Hole number 13, 276 feet, another par 3 that you really have to focus on just doing the first part of the shot, which is going straight. If you can get the disc to fly between that stuff on the right and this tree on the left, hopefully it'll finish out here to the open where we find our basket wide in the open and all this beautiful grass.
Yeah, I'd say anything within probably 50 feet is an A+ effort, just given the shot shape required here and the low ceiling.
Yeah, the downward slope off the tee really brings this first tree into play. So even if you kind of focus on going around even on the outside of that tree and just throwing a straight shot, sometimes the straight shot off the tee will still have a great look at the basket. Natalie going strong again off the tee, unfortunately catches that tree there on the left. Those branches come in quick.
All right, so 2 for 2 off of that tree. Let's see what Sandi can do.
Sandi has the best throw for the hole, being a lefty, as she should, and she's going to sneak just past there, and I think she's just outside circle 1.
Going with the low, boring turnover here. I love that.
Putting some juice on it, really just trying to make the disc hit my straight line, and the disc, being a leopard, finishes right.
Boring meaning boring through, not boring like yawn.
Sorry, I'm putting you to sleep, Grant.
Different kind of boring.
Natalie leaves that just a little shorter than she wanted to.
Here's Owen now with an 80-foot look.
Gonna give it everything she's got. Those little legs almost got it.
All right, Jen, so 38 feet left for you here.
Leaving it short.
Base of the pole.
Yeah, I think the tailwind got a couple of us on these first holes out in the open here.
Sandi trying to play for that tailwind ends up going long and up and over.
Yeah, I felt guilty because mine really sucked down and hers lifted really high. So again, we played this whole front 9 in the trees and we hadn't really got to play with any wind. And so the swirling wind was kind of playing with us just a hair.
Sandi does very well there to save her par. And it looks like Natalie's bogey. Everyone else pars out. So Owen now with a little bit of a gap on Natalie.
Hole number 14 is a par 3, 330 feet. We, again, just like most of the holes out here at Northwood, we're going to try to do a straight shot down this fairway. And again, the hole is going to kick us off to the right, out there back to the opening. Pretty difficult shot here on this course. We're going to see several different approaches at it. Owen goes off the tee with her putter. If that tells you anything about the difficulty of this hole, I really kind of expected to see her forehand because she's so good with it. But she said that she always got a pretty big kick off into the right. And if you get off this fairway left or right, it's very difficult to find your way back up there to safe par. Sandi slides up past the middle.
Jennifer shaping it around the corner there.
Yeah, that leopard does work at Northwood. I was able to get most of the way, kind of scared a spectator, I think.
And here's Natalie.
Natalie going with her putter as well, just trying to get to this first corner.
So Natalie now still about 160 feet out.
Yeah, and this is one of the tricky holes. I mean, so she played the safe shot to begin with, and now unfortunately has to pitch out. It is very difficult. A long forehand, if you have a really big forehand game, sometimes works from there. Again, so Owen forehand player, she's going hyzer. It just depends which tree is in the way.
Sandi stretching out here from about 135 feet.
And once you get through this gap, there's some, lower branches. So it's not really a placement shot off the tee, but it can be either way. Placement shot or trying to make it all the way out. It's a difficult hole. I was fortunate to get most of the way out, but not a very good footing.
Yeah, saw that. Was happy you were able to land that without turning an ankle.
I thought my foot was going to get stuck underneath one. Owen staring it down, giving a good bid at it. Gets a little bounce off the top.
The top there. So here's Owen with the comebacker to save that bogey.
My mini's just over here. It's hiding.
Sandi lost her mini. She had already marked her disc. Grass is a little tall out here with all the rain.
Saves that par.
And this is definitely a hole that par is what most of us are going for. A birdie
Oh, dear.
is extra, and that is pretty uncharacteristic of how great Natalie's been putting today. It just sometimes happens.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to catch her breath from the other shots on the hole, and lets one slip by. And we're moving on to hole number 15.
Owen opening up a 3-stroke lead. Everybody else at even par or better.
Ace Run Productions join their Patreon account, $3 a month.
Hole number 15 is a 444-foot par 4.
Yeah, this is a very, very difficult shot that you want to really just get that first shot to stay over the crest of the hill. That stump there in the middle is a good landing zone. A couple of ways to do that, but even if you're laying up and you hyzer off to the left, it's a very difficult spot. So have to get a shot off the slope of the hill and then still have work to do to make it all the way down to the basket. So our lefty here, Sandi, going off the tee pretty clean, gets a little bit of a kick off to the right. Mm-hmm. And anything left or right is just really difficult. I liked my line. It's turning over. That's my leopard, but it usually hyzers back down the hill there, and I got a ridiculous kick deep right. Owen lets that go, pretty stable destroyer, and that little branch doesn't help it. So she's hyzering deep off left. And Natalie finally does what you're supposed to do and just aims for that stump in the middle.
and matter of fact, hits that stump. So now here's Natalie staring down. She's done about half the work at this point.
And proves to us that this hole is just hard.
Yeah.
We were joking this hole should be a par 5. I almost went on to the black course. There's 2 courses out here at Northwood, and I almost found my way over to where the MPO40 is playing. And so I barely even have a line to pitch out, but finding the middle.
Out in the open.
And it's nothing like pitching out and it's still your turn. So I'm trying to, with this big down slope, I actually throw a pretty understable disc thinking it could ride the hill and hyzer down not too hard. Unfortunately, it didn't hyzer enough, so I am now on the junk on the right again.
Meanwhile, Sandi has found her lie.
Yeah, and even Sandi, I mean, she was like 20, 25 feet in front of me and still just had to pitch out. Like, you have to stay in the fairway on this hole.
Yep, Owen off to the left, pitching out.
Yeah. That roll is probably going to play better for her, actually. Opens up the angles on that side, sorry.
Back to Sandi.
Yeah, and this is one, like, the shots are just so demanding that your timing on release, a little early, little late, comes into play. Owen's going to do her forehand magic with her Firebird. And if she has that disc, it's usually going to the basket.
There's Natalie. That little ultimate style air bounce.
Yeah, she's so good with that shot. So good. Sandy and I just keep pitching our way out down the fairway.
You guys, you've certainly got a rhythm going.
We want a vacation after this hole. Finally, she makes her way up there. I'm still looking to see if I like went off to some island somewhere.
And then up and around off the vines.
Yeah, there was just the smallest little hole. I actually kind of thought I had it. Definitely couldn't see anything from deep in there.
Oh, and after all that time, cards the par 3 here.
Yeah, it felt like we had like 50 strokes on that hole.
Is that the par 4?
Yeah, it's a par 4 on this hole.
It is. Excuse me on that.
3 on this hole would be incredible.
We've got a bogey. We've got a double bogey.
And another double.
And another double bogey. Lots of colors on the scorecard.
Yeah, we were exhausted after that one.
But I suppose everyone had to play through it, so probably everybody with fairly even standing to where they started out relative to the field. Own there, opening up a little more of a lead, though, here on the feature card. We move to hole 16 at 492 feet.
So hole number 16, we get to see a little bit more of the open land. The branch on the left does come into play, and you really have to watch the angle of release off the tee because the big sloping hill on the right, if you try to throw it a little too hard, you typically end up cut rolling into that hill. So touchy angle out of this tee box.
Yes.
Owen shows us good angle and just really kind of trying to get a nice straight shot. She is definitely breaking this hole up into 2.
There's Natalie, a little bit of a pull there, but if she can get through, yes, she does.
Yeah, she rides that right side of the fairway. That spot is a lot more difficult, though, because you cannot see the basket at all. Sandi's going to have a much better lie just because on the left side of this hill, you can see the basket. It's a very steep hill.
Big swing.
Yeah,
from
I was
Jennifer.
trying to really work a flex shot, and that branch made it hyzer off. I was lucky enough to stay outside of the rough stuff, though, so
Yeah,
I'm
good
going to still
angle.
have a good look. Yeah.
A really good angle from over there.
Yeah, it's where I like to land, but just wanted a little more turn on it. Natalie's going with her big hyzer, trying to get over there. Again, she has no clue where that basket is, so that's a pretty good shot.
Pretty
Just
well played, yeah.
a little short. Own Firebird magic.
Wants to just knife this right into the hillside and let the disc die. It does a pretty good job of it.
Puts herself in a tester, though. That's going to be a pretty steep death putt. But Owen doesn't know death putts, so that'll be fine.
Sandi up to pin high gets
The ugliest roll.
Oh, boy,
the
it's still going.
Ugliest roll. Yeah, she had such a great line at that, and it should have just stayed there. It was pretty mean to her. I'm tossing out the Toro, very stable disc, so able just to put it out on the angle and let it do what it's supposed to.
Boy, that disc got to the ground in a hurry, even moving with the slope of the hill.
Yeah, I treat it like a putter almost. It took away a lot of my X3 shots. Natalie's not going to risk anything with that.
No shame in walking away with a par here.
And Sandi gives it a good bid. That was that's kind of frustrating when you did a great shot and you walk up there with such a long putt.
Oh, and in low and right, and it drops.
I sometimes think when she has death putts and, camera guys staring her down, like, it makes her make them more. Like, it's incredible. Her mental game on putting is like no other.
Yeah, just unbelievably confident. She knows that she can do it. She knows that she usually does, and I think that helps her really go for some of those.
And you have to commit. On a putt like that, if you do not know that you're going to make it and commit to it, you're going to miss.
I'm sorry, I could have missed and hit you. I didn't.
Turbo putt birdie for you.
Just a few more to go. We're almost through our first round at the Masters World Championship.
Play.
Disc.
Golf.
Pelaan frisbeegolfia.
Spill disc golf. Ja.
To help recognize players of all ages and backgrounds, we are excited to announce the PDGA Global Master Series.
Beginning January 2023, anyone competing in a Masters division at a PDGA-sanctioned tournament will qualify.
You'll be ranked with other players in your division from around the world. And the player with the 8 highest rated rounds will become a PDGA Global Master Series champion.
Visit pdga.com/GMS.
Okay, hole 17. This is definitely a tricky one. We go back into the woods. We go up a hill, down a hill, over a hill, back out to a cornfield. And you have to keep your disc in the middle. There's a deep creek off to the left that's dry but treacherous, and off to the right is the rest of that creek, and it has not any easier over there on the right side either. So trying to even just pitch up, stay in the middle is not a bad play.
Yeah, look at this meandering fairway.
It's really, the basket is directly straight in front of the tee pad, but to get a disc to fly uphill that far is really difficult. I'm going with my flippy leopard, just trying to get it up and out. Nose angle was up a little high, but I get a nice kick and stay up on top. There's actually a little bit, if you can punch all the way out to where you see that grass, you can usually catch up and not fall back into the creek. Kick early at all, and you're going down into the creek. Wow. Natalie, yeah, she makes it all the way out.
Uses up all of the fairway in order to do so. Another tricky shot here for our lefty backhand player.
Yeah, she's just trying to lay up to the middle here. This is one of those holes, like, sometimes laying up softly is harder because the touch on the disc. And so we're kind of 50-50 on laying up or using a little bit more stable or fairway driver to punch it and try to get all the way out there. You can sometimes hit your lines better with a faster speed disc. So dry creek, but brings the hill into play a little bit more. So Own not able to get all the way up there, but a nice roll into Own range.
What isn't Own range at this point? I mean, we've established that. Has Sandi still with over 100 feet to negotiate there, closer to 150.
And this was Natalie's drive. And so excellent drive off the tee, still a pretty hard approach to the basket because of the height and the thick grass. That's something else. All these holes going in and out of the woods, you have to really look at, trying to give this one a little bit of a bid. You have to really kind of think about how your disc is going to land and if there's grass or not.
Okay, so here Own is. Circle 2 edge, maybe?
I think she's further. It's way out there.
Oh, boy.
But, like I said, Own range. Let's roll it back. Another look. get those little legs jumping. It's like you can see the flutter of the disc is, I picture her legs. Like it just runs to the basket. She's going to cash in yet another one. That is 2 save par though, even though that feels like almost an eagle.
Natalie safely under the basket here.
Yeah, the humidity by the end of this round, and there's, there's quite a bit of hills, even though it doesn't seem like a big hilly course. Legs are pretty tired. We started at noon, so a lot of us didn't eat anything and kind of getting hungry and tired. So one more hole to go.
Low energy, certainly at this point. Jennifer and Natalie, both of you all with a chance to perhaps get back to even par. In order to do so, going to have to birdie this one, the 18th, at 680 feet.
Yeah, this is a big, long opening drive. What you want to do is really just kind of keep your disc in this first landing zone, and then your second shot is going to be to shoot the disc up the hill and off to the right. Even though that looks like a pretty big, wide open field, it can be difficult to kind of keep it in the middle there. Again, we were playing in the trees most of the day, so we're hearing the wind kind of coming through, and we're learning some different languages here. But we thought we had a big headwind, but Owens takes a different kind of wind pocket, so she fools all of us. Now at this point, we don't know what the wind is doing out there. We just know we can hear some. So I try to do the same shot as Owen. I do not hit that pocket. Mine gets smashed down. That typically carries much further up the fairway for me. So I'm going to have a really tucked off hard shot for my second. Over here where Natalie's going on the left side of the fairway makes a much easier approach on the second.
Yeah, long approach, but an easier angle for sure from over there. Sandi, a hole that should shape nicely for a left-handed player.
Thank you.
Yeah, she gets some air underneath there. And the right side of the fairway is okay for her. She's going to pitch around. Being a par 4, we can do a couple of pitches here.
You're looking skyward here.
I'm looking big. I love to throw these shots. I couldn't tell how hard the wind was going to push it, and it does push it a little further right than I thought. But I land safely. I'm not in the road, so pitch around a trash can, and I'm home.
Owen going to the forehand.
Yeah, the forehand for the wind on this, or the left-handed shot, is definitely easier. But it is quite, I can't remember what I ranged, but I think it was like 360, 370 out. So I really had to get mine high to try to get around it. Natalie gets a good straight punch at it. And she is going to have a nice approach to finish off.
So everybody looking now to save a par on the last.
Haven't had to do too many of these, but I'm going to take that Toro as a forehand. That's Calvin's Tour Series disc, and that's what he uses it for. So I figured if Calvin does it, then I should do it, right? I've got to do what our pros do. Natalie using her ultimate shot again. This one just goes a tiny bit too far, but going to leave her a little bit of a poor footing.
Sandi pitches up gently under the basket for a stress-free par save here at the last.
You'd have to think Owen's going to run this.
It'd be about the same distance or so as the last.
Almost shorter, but this is a very steep hill, and it was hot. I think we were all pretty tired.
In safely for that par here at the last for you, Jennifer.
Yeah, and she had that one little branch. And like I had said earlier, I think it's on hole 12. Those are really thick cedar branches. I don't know what type of different kind of a tree that is than some that are really lightweight. But these branches are heavy, so she tried to pitch over it, and that left her high.
Really enjoyed my round with you guys.
Yeah, we had such a great card.
There you have it for this feature card on Scoggins. the only player under par at 5 under par. Jennifer, though, in tight 2 par, just 1 over, and that keeps you very, very much in the hunt. Just here knocking on the door of the top 5. Holly Finley, good showings, as did Sarah Holcomb from one of the other cards on the day. Juliana Korver also making some noise. So we'll have a different lead card on day number 2 here at the 2022 Masters World Championships. For continuing coverage, make sure you follow the PDGA on all social channels, including right here on YouTube, so you don't miss a minute of the action.